Fm4 Klimanews.
Hi, my name's Chris Cummins. This is the Fm4 Klimanews Weekly, and this week we're going to talk about electric mobility and lithium. Now, it seems to me there's a plan to save the planet which consists of this: replacing all the engines of the cars on our roads with electric batteries instead of powering them with diesel and with petrol, which only works to a certain extent. Imagine if we saw a street now, and then how would it look in 10 or 20 years' time? Like this. Just as many cars on the road. And there will be some great benefits with that new revolution of electric mobility. There will be less carbon dioxide puffed up into the atmosphere, and also diesel in particular creates all those horrible toxic chemicals that we breathe in that make our air so chokingly poisonous. Much less of that in the air of the future, but still a lot of cars on the roads. And those cars need a mineral called lithium to power them. Lithium is in the batteries of all electric cars, and lithium might cause us some severe problems in the future. It's causing them already in Serbia. Yeah, over the last few days, we've seen some huge environmental protests in Serbia, and it's all been about lithium mining. Electric cars, as I say, need lithium to power their batteries, and that lithium has to come from somewhere. Mostly at the moment, it comes from abroad, by the way. We import it, but Europe wants to produce its own lithium, and the Serbian government has invited a mining company called Rio Tinto, a company with a lot of baggage, basically. But anyway, they've invited them to mine lithium in this beautiful valley in Serbia, and the people are just not having it. The reasons they give for their protests are these: the lithium mining might cause the air and water to get very polluted, and also they're really angry at some proposed law changes that were going to mean it was going to be easier for big companies to take land away from Serbian citizens if they needed it to mine in, for example. Yet, because of those huge protests, there's been a massive victory scored by the protesters. Our Southeast Europe correspondent, Guy Delorney, explains.
Who says that protests don't work because those enormous demonstrations we saw in Serbia over last weekend have really reaped results. Serbia's president has said he won't sign into law these controversial amendments which would have made it easier for mining companies to set up shop in Serbia. He says there needs to be a proper conversation about whether lithium mining goes ahead, and he wants to listen to the people.
Yeah, lithium really is the rock star mineral of the 21st century. It really is a very useful mineral, explains Karin Köbelböck of the Austrian Foundation of Development Research.
Because lithium can be used to store energy. It is a very dense mineral, a very dense metal, and therefore it is used especially to store energy for electric cars.
When lithium is in a battery, it can make cars go much more cleanly, but getting it out can be a very dirty process. There's one way of getting it out of the ground, which is called the hard rock process, which basically involves temperatures of up to 1,000 degrees centigrade. That takes a lot of energy. And the other process is equally problematic because it takes lots and lots of water to get the lithium we need.
And especially in regions where there's water scarcity, this is highly problematic. For instance, in Chile, 65% of water have been consumed due to lithium mining.
Lithium, what would we do without it? It is in so many of the things we use every day. If we are going to replace every single engine in every single car with an electric battery instead of a tank full of petrol or diesel, we're going to either have to import masses and masses of lithium or mine loads and loads of lithium, or we could rethink the future of mobility.
Well, I think the way out is to consume less of lithium and less of these batteries, which would mean much more recycling. So I think really these electric cars are not our way out of to create mobility. I think we have to think of other forms for mobility, like public transport and biking.
The thing about lithium mining, it's been a problem for a while, but we say, don't we, out of sight, out of mind. We haven't really thought about it a lot because it's been happening elsewhere, particularly in Latin America or in Asia. And this could be an issue we're dealing with also here in Austria. There's a lithium mine planned for Carinthia in southern Austria. They want to start extracting lithium as early as 2023. So we could be facing these sort of issues, these sort of questions ourselves here in Austria very soon.
I think higher mining is highly problematic, and also in Austria, water is going to be used, chemicals are going to be used. So I think they should be really carefully considered if it makes sense.
So do we have to make that decision between clean mobility on pristine landscape, or do we have to make some compromises? Is lithium mining just a necessary evil of our future green world? Well, tell us what you think. Should we just have less cars, or do we just have to go with it and mine the lithium? Leave us a comment, tell us what you think about this video and about the really important issue we've been talking about today. Thank you very much for joining me on the Fm4 Klimanews.
Fm4 Klimanews.